buying the economy. You've probably heard of people investing their money into the stock market, trying to find the next hot stock, which, you know what, if you want to put a little bit of money into that, I'm not going to stop you. But make sure you're also thinking about just buying the economy. Now, here's a chart showing the S&P 500, the largest 500 companies in the stock market for the last 90 years. Now, what you see is despite the market crashes, despite the recessions, the market has continued to grow. See, the problem with trying to find the next hot stock and investing your money into individual companies is most people don't know when to buy, they don't know when to sell, and they don't know if the company that they're investing in is actually a good investment or not. However, if we take a look at the stock market like the S&P 500, what you'll see is that the average historical return is 10% a year. That means our stock market on average has grown by around 10% a year. Now the S&P 500, this thing that I keep throwing around, is a term for an index, meaning a group of the 500 largest companies in the stock market. And instead of you just going to go out and find the next hot company, you can just put your money into something like the S&P 500 and now you own a piece of the 500 largest companies in the stock market. Now, of course, I got to give you a disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what to do, and I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you this as a point of starting your education. That way you understand the different options that you have, because of course, investing has risks. You are never guaranteed to make money when you invest. In fact, you will probably lose money at some point. So make sure you always do your own due diligence and never blindly trust a random guy on YouTube. But for example, if you went onto the stock market, you went onto any stock brokerage and you bought a share of SPY, what you're doing now when you buy SPY is you're buying a piece of the S&P 500 index. So when you buy one share of SPY, you're buying a little bit of the 500 largest companies in the stock market. Now, if one of these 500 largest companies in the stock market goes bankrupt, you're still okay because you have 499 other companies in this fund, and then this fund will kick out the bankrupt company and put in a new company. So it can be managed a whole lot easier on your end because you know that historically we have seen market crashes. We have seen recessions. Our economy has seen market crashes and recessions pretty much every decade for the last century. But our economy has been resilient throughout this. And now if you just keep putting your money into something like the economy, well, now you're owning a piece of the strongest economy in the world, and you want to hold on to it for the long term because we have seen historically that this has worked. Does it guarantee it'll work in the future? No, but we've seen through history that this has worked in the past. Now, to show you the power of this and why it's so important for you to start investing sooner rather than later, let's assume that you invest $250 a month, less than $10 a day. You do this for 40 years, and even as you make more money, let's assume that you don't invest any more than $250 a month, and you get the average 10% return, which is what I was just talking about. If you do this after 40 years, your investment account is going to be worth over $1.4 million, almost $1.5 million. But if now, let's say that you have the ability to invest even more money, let's assume that you can invest $1,000 a month, and you do this for the next 40 years until you retire, you get the same 10% return. Now you're going to retire with more than $5.8 million in your account because you had these 40 years to do it. But now let's assume that you weren't as financially astute in your 20s. Maybe you start in your mid-30s. And now you invest the same $1,000 a month. And the only thing that you change is you do it for 25 years instead of 40 years, but you get the same 10% return. Now, in this instance, even though you're investing $1,000 a month, you're going to retire with around $1.3 million. Still a lot of money, but it's nowhere near what you would have had if you would have started a little bit sooner. And it's still less than what you would have had if you started investing just a little bit earlier with a quarter of the amount of money. This is why how much time your money has to grow and compound is so important, which is why if you're in your 20s, you want to start investing sooner rather than later and understand markets go up and down and continue investing through the ups and downs. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.